If you're a home DIYer, here's 10 tools that you need to have that'll get you through pretty much everything. So number one on our list is a good hammer. I like to use this ball peen hammer. Everything that I need to do, this hammer will pretty much do it. If you're somebody who likes to use wood or woodworking or anything like that, maybe a claw hammer might be better. But for me, a good ball peen hammer will do literally everything I need it to do, which is sick. Good hammer, first thing you should be getting. So now that we've got our hammer sorted, the next thing that I definitely suggest is a good drill. This drill has done so much in all of my DIY projects and I beat on it a lot. Not only a good drill, but some drill bits. So I have a ton of different drill bit sizes here. I like to use them in little tiny packs. This will do pretty much everything. It's good for wood, timber, plastic, whatever. A good drill and some good drill bits will see you through a ton of work. What's next? I think the next thing that I would definitely suggest is an impact driver. So I use this impact driver. They're really easy to change all the bits out. You can use a ton of different fasteners for this. So you would generally use a driver or an impact driver when you're putting screws into stuff, screwing furniture together or fencing or whatever. This thing will do pretty much most of that. So you can use Phillips head bits, you can use square drive bits, you can use a ton of different stuff. If you want Torx bits, if you want blade bits, these have saved me so many times, and I find that once I have a good impact driver and some good bits, there's not really many things I can't do, which is sick. Definitely something I love. Some efficiency, it's great. After impact driver, what would you buy after an impact driver? The next thing that I would definitely suggest is some good screwdrivers. So I use these in my EVA tray. I have everything from some blade to some Phillips, and this pretty much covers most things. If I'm not using a power tool to put a fastener into place and I want to use this to disassemble something or undo something or whatever, these are great. I like these Torquemaster handled ones because they feel really comfortable and they work. I don't really need to do anything else. One thing with my screwdriver set is I get this one, which is like a bit holder, and this will have all of the bits that I need. So if I don't have a specific kind of screwdriver, this one has the blades, the Phillips, the Torx, security bits, square drive bits, literally everything. So if I can't get it done with one of the bigger screwdrivers and I need a specific bit for something, this bit driver and some bits will cover you for pretty much everything else. Now we're gonna jump into probably the most used tool that everybody should have, and it is a good tape measure. This is an 8-meter metric tape measure. It's plenty long enough for everything that I need to do, but having a good tape measure that's accessible and ready to go will save you. Like having to hunt around for a tape measure or not having a tape measure is the worst thing ever. So to have a good tape measure that's always accessible will definitely save a lot of time, which is great. The next thing that I would definitely suggest is probably one of my personal favorites because it gets the most use out of everything in my garage, and it's a good set of sockets and some good ratchets. I have this EVA tray that covers everything from 1/2 inch to 3/8 to 1/4 inch, both metric and imperial. Yes, it's a lot of stuff and a lot of people probably don't need all of this stuff, but this tray gets the most use out of everything that I do in the house, whether I'm working on the car, assembling something, taking something apart, whatever. Most things that are going to use a nut and bolt system will be covered from this, which is the perfect thing. To have a nice ratchet, nice sockets, everything from, what have I got, 1 1/4 inch or 32 millimeters all the way down to a 4 millimeter. There's not really many things that I can't take apart or put together or work on with this socket tray, which is sick. So good set of sockets, good ratchet handles, will cover a lot of things that you need to do them with. The next thing that I have on my list is this. I know this is definitely overkill for a lot of situations, but this is my toolbox or a good storage solution. This toolbox is a recently acquired thing for me. I used to normally just chuck everything into tubs, or I'd have things in their own little tiny toolboxes or whatever. But to be able to go into any drawer, know exactly where my things are, know exactly what's in them, I have everything labeled. A good, sturdy storage solution is by far probably the best improvement that I've made for any of my DIY projects. Having stuff away, having storage for everything, it makes such a big difference that you kind of don't realize until you invest in a really good storage solution. This has elevated everything that I do in the garage. The fact that I can work with somebody else in here, if I'm working with somebody who's never been to my garage, I can say to them, go to the ratchet and sockets drawer, they know exactly where it is. If they want to find some PTA bits, they know exactly where they are. Cable ties, they know exactly where they are. Having everything organized is just such a good step in the right direction for efficiency, working with other people, keeping things neat and tidy so you don't lose stuff all the time. I bet you I still even have my 10mm socket is still in the tray because it's labeled and I know exactly where it goes. So good storage solution, cannot suggest enough. Absolutely one on my list. The next thing might not be super applicable to everybody, but it's definitely something that I use a ton and something I would for sure suggest, and it's a good angle grinder. So I use this a ton. This is a battery powered angle grinder, so I don't have to run extension cables, I don't have to do stuff. I recently had to fix the gate on the backside of our house. The fact that I can take this out there, cut latches, cut the metal frame, anything that I need to do, I can do with this. And even if I'm welding stuff and putting stuff together on my welding bench, to have something accessible, easy, small-ish is perfect. So a good angle grinder, I cannot recommend enough. The second last thing on my list is one that I didn't use until recently, but has sort of cut a lot of tools out of my workflow, which is great. And it's a good set of adjustable pliers. So I have these two here. There's two different sizes. I generally use the big ones a lot depending on what I'm working with, but this will cover everything from 0 to 40mm. So you can slide them, you can adjust them. Once you grip onto something and you push down, it only gets tighter. This has saved a ton of tools. I don't need shifters anymore. I don't need to find the right size spanner. I can just grab this and I know I'm gonna be able to do whatever I need to do unless it's super, super tight. If it's really, really tight, you should probably go for a spanner or find something that's exactly the right size. But for most things, dude, these are so good. They come in both sizes. The little teeny tiny ones will do 30mm. So even though they're smaller in frame, they still go all the way out to 30mm. So if you can't get it undone with this, you probably should be using the right tool, but this is generally the right tool for what I'm trying to do stuff with. So adjustable pliers, cannot suggest enough. The last thing is something that most people might overlook. It's something I definitely overlooked for a long time, but it's on the back of my workbench and it's a handsaw. So if I'm a big metal working person. I love to weld stuff. I love to cut stuff. That's just my vibe of things. So I don't really find a use for a circular saw or a drop saw or anything like that. But a good handsaw, this thing has done so much stuff with me. I will use this a ton. It does heaps of stuff, and just having a good, sharp, really ergonomic handsaw is elite. It's such a good move to have. I've used cheaper saws and I've used like a ton of different things, but having something that feels good in the hand, something that you can just really ream on for a couple of hours at a time for a big project is definitely underrated. So a good handsaw is absolutely something I'd suggest to get you out of anything, really. That can cut timber, it can cut 4590s, it can cut timber sheets, whatever you're working on, whether you're building furniture or putting something together around the house, a good handsaw will save your bacon for sure. So this is my top 10 list. Leave me a comment below if you agree or if you think there's something I missed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.